All right, it's time to get into phone numbers and the A2P registration process. So, for those that are really excited to get texting and messaging leads through the lead shop system, this is going to help you go through the process of getting your phone registered. Now, we can help with this process, but the truth is that you're going to know better than us what you want to do with your phone number and how, and as well as your business information. Let's talk a little bit about what A2P 10 DLC registration is. Back in about 2024, 2023, different some different regulations came out that the government wanted to make sure that people were not getting spammed through their phone. Text messaging was starting to really take off, especially following COVID, and people were trying to use that as a marketing tool. And so there was a lot of concern about people receiving text messages when they didn't opt in for text messages, and there was a lot of scam as well. And so what happened was the phone carriers got together and said, "Hey, we need to come up with a process where you need to register your business to prove that you are an authorized phone number to be able to market and send out text messages, especially in bulk fashion." And so then they came up with the A2P 10 DLC registration process where you submit your business information, and from there, they determine if they want to approve your business and the types of messages that you send out to customers, all in an effort to reduce spam. And in this case, those that do go through this process improve their deliverability. Now, this is not a process that we enjoy. You will probably not enjoy it. You'd be crazy if you did. But we simply make it available through the platform for you to be able to do it. And we got the registration forms built in so that you can just take it step by step through. Now, if you get declined, that is that's based off of the information that you've provided. If you get approved, it's also based off the information. Lead Shop has zero say in whether you get approved or declined with your phone number. This is totally up to you and what you provide. So, that being said, it's time to get started. Now, you've probably seen some of our tutorials on how to get a phone number. For this demo, I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick recap. We're going to click Add Number, Add Phone Number, and say I want to add an Idaho area code. I would just search the Idaho area code and use the first part of number so it puts it up in the front of the phone number. Here are a bunch of phone numbers. I love this phone number. I select that. I proceed to buy. Now it is one of my listed phone numbers. Okay, so from here, we got to register this phone number if we want to send out messages. So the first thing is we click on Start Now, and I've gone through the process to register my brand. Now, if your brand is not registered, what that might look like is this. We're going to say that if I haven't registered my business yet, it's going to show up as yet to start. All of this is also available in the Trust Center, so you can either go to manage numbers and click Start Now after you've purchased, or you can go to Trust Center. So you want to click Start Registering Now. And what this is going to do is it's going to ask you some questions here about your company. So it's going to say, are you a registered business? Yes. Does it have a tax ID? Yes. And then it's going to ask you for your business address, your contact information. Now, when you fill this information out, you need to make sure that it is the same information that you submitted to the IRS when you got your EIN. That's why it's asking all this stuff about tax ID, because that's your business and it's a way for them to verify that you are a legitimate business. So make sure you have your EIN ready to go when you go through this process. Or if you say, no, I don't have an EIN, then there will be other ways for you to verify. You might need to use like your license or other methods, but generally most businesses will have an EIN number. You're going to provide that. Once you've gone through the business section, you're then going to have, as you see here, the campaign section. So the registration process is kind of divided into these two parts. You got your business registration, and then you got the campaign registration. So we're going to go back here. I've already gone through the business registration. I've provided the details for the business. Now it is time to go through the campaign process. And in order to do that, in this case, I was rejected the first time. Now, the reasons are always kind of vague, I will say. It's not, again, this is nothing that LeadShop has control over. This is the A2P board or committee that was set up to approve these. They might provide some really janky reason. You just got to be patient with this process here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on resubmit. Now, this is essentially going to look the same as when I first went through. So in this case, I'm going to clear it out for you so that you can see what we got to work with when you first do it that first time. So that first time, this is going to be blank, this is going to be blank, this is going to be blank. It might ask you about like usage case. You can just do low volume, mixed, recommended. It's generally good to just go with what's recommended on this thing. And when it comes to the use case description, you might want to write up this whole thing explaining how you use it. But in a lot of registrations that we've done and we've seen, if you just click on the C example and then you just use one of these kind of templates that we've put together, then oftentimes that will work. I want to copy that first one. And so if it says this campaign sends appointment information to customers once they booked an appointment with, in this case, I'm going to insert my company. And then I'm going to say my company right here. And on website, I need to swap out my website. So where are people booking an appointment? It's right here on this link. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that link. And this part is the part that people have some of the most trouble with. It's in this section. It's the campaign section. A lot of brands and businesses get approved with flying colors, but boy, does this messaging stuff sure tick people off. And it ticks us off, but we just have to do it if we want to be able to message people. So then we click on C example, and then we're going to grab that and paste it. And we want to make sure that we're using the same name. So in this case, I'm going to just use the name Ryan, and then we're going to add our business information. And then for here, it might say like a kind of a general phone number. And so what we want to do for that is I'll often duplicate the tab so that it takes me back to that phone number. And I'm just going to click manage numbers. And I'm going to grab my number that I purchased and I'm going to paste it right here, just like that. And so I've got, my name, I've got my business, and then I've got a phone number right there. And then I'm going to add another sample message and then paste that. We're going to do the same thing. This one is a little bit different. It's got that link below that you can see. And what these are doing, again, it's just providing you kind of a template. If you use these, you're not going to be guaranteed, but it's just to try to help you out a little bit. You're really going to have to sometimes play with it to figure out what's going to get it approved. All right, so how do they consent to receive messages? You can go ahead and copy this one. This field will be empty when you first see it. So now we're going to go ahead and just paste that. I'm going to grab my link again. In other videos, we show you how to connect your domain and how to start building a website. So we'd really recommend doing that, connecting your domain, going through that process, getting your website set up. It's good to have that anyways for your business. And on your website, you can go through and write up a privacy policy page. There's a lot of ways to create a privacy policy page. I'm not going to get into the details of that. You got to figure out how to do that for your business, but make sure you add that to your website so that they have something to verify. Now, when I say that, what they are trying to verify is, are you getting consent from your leads to text them? So on LeadShop, for example, we go through and we click on appointment time. Right there, it's saying there's a checkbox and a privacy policy that we can click on and that they can go through and read. And that means that the people who are reviewing this campaign and our business can actually read through our privacy policy and verify that we do have one and that people are in fact opting into it. That's what we want. So we want to be able to show the A2P committee that we got a page for people to book, put in their contact details right there, filling in their details on this demo page, and then agreeing to our terms and conditions and our privacy policy. They are providing their consent. So right there, we have just used the template information, these examples, to be able to register our business. Again, you want to make sure you have a website, you have a privacy policy. There's some way to include opt-in information. Now, I'll say like a little bit of a cheat, if you will, is that if you go to calendars, if you say you don't have a website, you could go to calendar settings, and then you got this calendar right here. Meet with your custom values, meet with, John Doe. This is your custom calendar included. So if you click on share calendar and click on copy, and now you pull that up here. Okay, so you've got this calendar by default set up, and there's a whole tutorial on how to set up your calendar. If you've got that in place, you want to click on edit calendar, click on forms, and right here it's going to say select forms. You can go through and you can make sure that the form that you have on here is like an A2P registration form. And then you can go into your sites, go into forms and under builder, and then look for that A2P registration right there. And then if you got this A2P registration form, you can modify this to represent your company. And then once you have a privacy policy page set up, you can go through and highlight it right there and click on that link. And then you can use this form built into your calendar. And now you're just providing your calendar link. Your calendar link has your A2P registration form. Your A2P registration form has your privacy policy. So this committee that's going to go through and approve it will be able to say, awesome, you have a way for people to consent and to check a box to approve their contact details being used, and there's a privacy policy. If you don't have a privacy policy, you may get rejected. That may be one of the use case reasons that are provided to you if you do get rejected. And then at the end here, you're going to go through and acknowledge and check a box about the registration charges. These are pass-through charges and fees. Lead Shop has nothing to do with this. If you get billed for it, it's just what they charge. So all of that, after that is just a submit, and at that point in time, it's going to say pending. So it takes sometimes 1 to 3 days. I find that takes about 1 to 3 days. It's going to show as in progress. And then you could either check your emails or just check back to this every couple days to just see if it's rejected or in progress. Again, this can be a frustrating process for sure. It is for us, especially when they first introduced it. We weren't too happy about that, but hopefully that helps you go through the A2P registration process. As just a recap, you're going to go through and get a phone number. Make sure you get that set up based off of what you want. You've got your phone number now. Go to Trust Center, enter your business details. Make sure you use the same business details that you use when you set up your business with the IRS or with your EIN. If you don't have your EIN number, then you'll probably go through and verify your driver's license or something. And then after that, you're going to be taken to the campaign portion, and you'll use the sample messages if you wish. Make sure you use your website, or your calendar link, swap out the forms as needed, get your privacy policy in place, make sure all those things are good to go, and you're going to be much more likely to get approved within just a few days than those that don't follow those steps. So we want to make sure that you can get texting as quickly as possible. So just follow those steps as best as you can. If you have any questions, please let us know, but hopefully that helps explain a little bit of the process.